My name's Matt Kramer. I'm the creative director at Sanzaro Games, and today we're showing off Asgard's Wrath.
Let's talk about Asgard's Wrath. You folks have been involved in Oculus titles for a while now, and VR for a while, kind of breaking through in hand presence with VR Sports Challenge Ripcoil. This is a huge departure for your studio. This is a very long, drawn-out game. So talk about just how big of a project this is compared to your past ones.
It's a big game. I mean, we're talking about a number of sagas that you played through. Today you got to play as the Maiden. And each of those sagas are going to have a totally new character that you're going to meet, new animals that you're going to recruit. And we're looking at about 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. The demo here on the floor is about an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's got, a lot of traditional action adventure RPG elements in it. And me as a gamer and as someone making VR games, I want to make full, big adventure games. I don't want to do little tiny nuggets of games that you're done with in like a half an hour, 2 hours. And I think what we have here is something that people have really wanted. I think the appetite is there. We've been working on this thing for almost 3 years now, and just to see the reaction from everyone playing the game, it's been really exciting.
So one of the mechanics early on in the game when the character doesn't have their own weapon is you have this ally the god creates for them out of animals. How long were you guys iterating on that idea? Because it's very puzzly with how you guys, for example, the shark character that I was playing with earlier.
Yeah, the animals are awesome because they have a couple different layers to them. First you switch to the god, you find the animal in the scene, you convert it to the warrior, you put it down to the human character, and then you can switch to the human character. And of course, to get them, you got to high five them or do a fist bump to have them obey you. But from that point, each of those characters, they're used in combat, they're used for puzzle elements throughout the game, and they also have mechanics that you use in previous levels. So you had the shark, you're going to meet a ton of different animals throughout your adventure, and then you can bring those animals back to previous areas and unlock spaces that you couldn't get to before.
It seems like it's almost like you're designing these characters in line with the level design because it unlocks so much.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is designed and laid out, really early so that we know the mechanics, we know form and function, how they're going to work, and also human characters. So each human character you meet is totally different. So today you played the Maiden, is very traditional with the sword and the shield. Later you're going to meet other characters that have completely different mechanics and different usages. And each of those saga stories, they're separate. So it's like one little story, you're going to finish it. You're going to start another saga with another character, another story, you're going to finish it. And once those sagas are complete, you can take that character back to a previous level. So you could take the Maiden to all different parts of the world.
I think just one thing I noticed is just the scale of this game is so much bigger than a lot of your other projects. So when you're designing a level, do you look at it from the god vision first and then into the person, or how do you look at a level when you're making it?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're very segregated, so you'll have that pocket that's built and designed for the god and the maiden play, and then the areas that are just for the maiden and the mortal play with the animal, they're built specifically for that. And then we'll come up with all the metrics and whatnot for those spaces and just build them in line.
And you're kind of a grave robber in this demo that I was trying, right?
Yeah, hey, you got to get weapons, right? You might as well get them from the best place you can.
So how many different kinds of weapons are we talking here? Is it going to be are you going to have two-handed swords, or is it really are you looking at that one-handed sword combat?
We have a huge amount of weapons in the game. Now, these aren't just traditional weapons like swords and shields. You're going to meet other characters that wield completely different types of weapons. I don't want to spoil it all for you, but when you meet those characters, they have, their own weapon style that's completely different than the other character that you met, on top of picking up weapons from enemies. So you're fighting an enemy, he drops a cool flaming sword, go pick it up. You can use it, it may break, but you could sell it back, you could use the materials to build something else. Crafting is also a big part of the game, so let's say you need some more arrows, you need some more bolts, or a quest requires a crafted item, you can go back to the tavern, you can craft all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up crafting because there's a ton of sweet loot in this game. So let's one moment I thought that I was kind of just taken back by the the physics in the enemies when you're slashing them up.
Yep.
I had a severed head that I was allowed to put in my pouch. Are you telling me that I could craft something out of this severed head?
I am telling you that you can craft something out of the severed head. You may even have a quest chain that requires some of those body parts. Everything in the game means something. It's either going to be used for a quest chain, you can use it for a recipe, you can use it just to sell it to buy gold, sell for gold or whatever.
And so you're basically a celestial being in this that possesses other characters in the game. Are there going to be other celestial beings that you encounter that might be rival to you in this?
Yes, there are many. I can't tell you what they all are, but you will meet other gods along your way. You have the overarching story where you're back at the tavern and Loki's kind of instructing you where to go next. And when you finish the mortal chunk of gameplay where you're helping the mortal, you'll come back to that tavern and you're going to be meeting other gods, maybe even fighting some other gods or doing some other things as that godly spirit. But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff planned.
I want to kind of talk to just about text in the game, because there's some reading required. There's this narrative being told. What kind of iterative process did you guys take to make it so readable in VR and so natural, and even in the menu system, very easy to navigate?
Yeah. Well, the navigation with the UI takes forever. I mean, we're still iterating on it, what things people pick up and what they don't. With the story narrative and the beats, what we usually do is we start off with a really high level kind of outline flow of the beats of the entire game, and then backfill and fill in all the writing and get that depth and the real flavor that comes out in the text. We've got some great writers on staff that love doing that stuff, and I think it shows really well with the game.
And then, what kind of mythology were you looking to for inspiration? Because this is definitely, you've created a world. You had to build a world for this. So what were you looking to for inspiration?
Yeah, we look at a lot of Norse mythology, but the thing that we do, people have preconceptions of what those characters are. They know what Loki is, they know what Thor is, and they know what those characters are going to be like. So I want to surprise people. Maybe Loki isn't like the Loki that you've read about. Maybe there's a twist to him. Maybe that Thor character that you know and everyone knows how he is, let's not do what it's been done before. Let's do something different with him. And it's those fresh takes that really keep people off balance and really keep them playing to see what's going to happen and what's next.
And you're saying that this game is 30 hours long?
I would say about 30 to 40 hours to 100% the game. And with that said, some of the quests that you get, if you notice in the demo you played, there's a tomb way up at the top. You need the shark and you need another animal for that, which you'll get later in the game. When you open that tomb, it's an entire instance there. It's not just you open it and there's a treasure chest and you get some stuff. We really want to reward you for exploring. So you're going to have a whole new instance with a whole new side quest, and there may even be other side quests paired inside that space.
Awesome. So there's a lot of replayability.
Yeah, tons.
So what platforms is the game going to be out on? Is it coming out? Is it possible to run on Quest?
Right now we're not looking at Quest. It's just on the Oculus Rift, and it'll be out September 2019.
And you guys have been the demo today was shown on the Rift S. What are you guys thinking of working with the Rift S?
I love it. I mean, my favorite part of it is the tracking. Because if you rotate or something, it doesn't matter. You're still being tracked. I really like the form factor of the controllers, and just the crispness and resolution of the headset's fantastic.
Awesome. So when does the game come out?
Game will come out September 2019.